Hello and welcome to today's Python tutorial. Today we are going to do some challenges on this website hackingscience.org. You can go here and then press on Python exercises up here, and then you will see a list of challenges, and for Python basics, for example, very simple, and then here not this simple, let's say, but still not advanced either. So we are going to solve like 3 of these challenges, and since we're going to use for loop, we can have an overview of for loops in Python. So for that I'm going to use Replit, and here let me zoom in. I'm going to create a new REPL in Python, and let's just call it loop. Create it here, and then we're going to have a very nice environment to practice. Now, what is a for loop? So for loops are used to iterate over some sequences, and these sequences can be lists, tuples, sets, or strings, or dictionaries, for example. And by iterating over them, I mean going through the list or going through the string and do something with each item in there. For instance, let's say we have a list, let's call it L, and as you know, we start and close a list by square brackets. Let's have 3 names here, like Jack, Mary, and John. So these 3 names here, and let's also have a string, call it S, and this is going to be, I don't know, Robert. Okay, now I'm going to loop through this list and get access to each item and print it out on the console. So for that we are going to use the for keyword, and then some letter or word, doesn't matter, this is random, you can choose whatever, because this is going to be assigned to each item in a list or in a string, so you can call it X, letter, Y, whatever. So for I in is another thing we need to use, and in what? In the list L, and then use colons, press enter, and you can see here we have some indentation. So what this means basically is that for every item in L, so this is one item, that is I is going to be Jack, I is going to be Mary, and I is going to be John. So what am I going to do with these items? I want to print them out, print I, and remember again, I is every item in L. So if I run it, you see Jack, Mary, and John here. Let's just zoom in a bit. So this is the way it works, and it's also the same thing with strings. So if I say for I in S, that is, this is I, this is going to be I, and if I print this, you see Robert in this way. So it will go through every item in S, print it, and then goes again, it's O, print it, B, print it, and so on and so forth. So this is one way of accessing different items in a list or a string or a tuple or dictionary. Now, another way is to also check for the length of the items. How can I check the length of, for example, S? So for that, I can say print len. So I use len function, which is for giving back or returning the length of something. If I say the length of S, for example, and let me comment this out. So length of S and print it, I should get 6 because there are 6 items, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And if I go for L, which is our list, I should get 3 because we have 3 items here, as you can see. And this is very useful sometimes. For example, let me show you what we can use that for. Oops. So if I get rid of this, now in for loops you can also use range for giving it a number, so that it loops through something, this number. Let's say for I in range 10, it means 10 times, but 10 times it starts from 0, so it would be 0 up to 9 and not including 10. So if I print this, you see 0 up to 9. You can also say I want to start from, I don't know, 2 to 10. Well, basically 2 up to, but not including 10. So that would be 2, 3, 4, up to 9. And sometimes we don't have an exact number of, for example, Robert or the list. This is where we can use the length function here. So I can say go through the list as long as there are items in, for example, S. And how many times, what is the length of S? It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So it will print out 6 things here. There will be 6 numbers from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. If I print this, you see 0 to 5. That is 6 times. Or whatever else you can do. Instead of this, you can say print hello. And if I print this, you see 6 times hello is printed. Or I can say hello plus, something like S index of I. And what is S index of I? So S index of, it would be 0 first, right? S index 0 is R. S index 1 would be O. So it will print this, the same thing, but you can see with R, O, B, E, R, T. So I can also put some space here, and this is going to happen like that. So we are going to use for loops like this, and you will see how it can help us do these challenges. So let's go back to our challenges here, and some of them are really simple. Well, these are also simple, but let's go over these. For example, print every 2 letters pairs. So as you can see, we have a description of the challenge here. We have an environment to run the code, and here it will give us corrections. If we have a correct answer, it will give us some feedback here. Now what are we going to do with this? So provide a script printing every possible pairs of 2 letters, only lowercase, 1 by line, ordered alphabetically. So your output should be like this: AA, AB, then AC, AD up to AZ, then BA, BB up to Z, then ZA, ZB, ZC up to ZZ. And do not write down manually the whole alphabet. Use string ASCII underscore lowercase. So this gives back the alphabet. Let me show you what I mean. I need to zoom it again. Alright, so for that we need to import string, so that we use this method here. And now let's just copy this, and let's say we have this alpha variable, and an alpha variable is going to be this. So this is basically the list of alphabet, not this one. Now if I print alpha, let's see what we get. So if I print alpha and control enter or run here, I should get, you see, the list of the alphabet all in lowercase. I can also say uppercase, and it would give me all in uppercase. So we have access to the alphabet now. Now let's loop through the alphabet and print them vertically. So again, let's say for letter, or for I, or for N, whatever, in alpha. So what am I going to do with it? I'm going to print letter. Do you think this works? Let's see if it works the way you expect it to work or not. You see, so for letter in alpha, and remember alpha was A, B, C, D. So for every letter, I want to print that letter. And this is what happens, A, B, C, D, up to here. Cool. So I can loop through it. But this is not enough. I also want to have access to the next letter and put it here. C, put it here. Now let's try something else. So let's try this time with a number. So let's say instead of letter, let's say for I, in a range of the length of alpha, that is 26 letters in the alphabet, right? So that will be 26 from 0 to 25. For every number in it, that is for 0, for 1, for 2, what I want is, I want to have this alpha, let's say print I first. You will see the numbers now. If I run, you see from 0 up to 25, so 26 letters of the alphabet. Now I don't want the numbers, I want the letters. So alpha, which contains the string, and I, that is alpha index 0, alpha index 1. So if I print this, you see again the same letters. Now since I is a number, now I can say I also want alpha I plus 1 index, that is if I is 0, print A, and then next to it print 0 plus 1 is 1, that is this one, AB. Let's see what happens if I do it now. Well, I get, oops, yeah, because I didn't close it. Well, here, now I get AB, BC, CD, DE, EF. Okay, but it still is not what we want, because we want A to be AB, then AC, AD, all of it. How can I do that? Now, let's say we are going to stick with one letter first. Let's choose one letter. Let's just call it, I don't know, F for like first letter, is equal to this, right? So our first letter is going to be equal to whatever number is, that is A or B or whatever. So we have access to 1. Now, what I want to do is I want to also loop through the rest of the alphabet and put A next to all of them like this. So I want A to be here, 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 but all of them should be looped through as well. That's why I create another for loop. I say for, instead of I, now I say J. For J in, again, this, right? Now what's going to happen now? That is, for every letter, again, in the alphabet, I want to connect this one, which we grab, to the rest of them. So I would say print F, which you already know what it is, plus, now, alphabet J. So alpha index J, which again is the same like A, B, C, D, E, F. So this is also be the same. But now we are going through this all the time, but our letter, our first letter would be the same until it's over and it gets to B, and then it goes through the next one, then it gets to C, it goes through the rest of them. Now let's run this and look at this. AA, AB, AC, AD, and CP, CQ. So this is repeated for all of them. Let's submit this and let's see what happens. Now the result should be here. Nice job, good answer. So you can also see some other solutions if you sign in and see how other people did the same thing. Okay, let's get to the next one now. Now print every pair of distinct letters. So provide a script printing every possible pairs of 2 different letters. Only lowercase, 1 pair per line ordered alphabetically. Don't print pairs consisting of twice the same letter, for example AA, ABB. So it is basically the same thing that we did previously. Let's go back. It's the same as this. But this time we are going to skip the ones which are repeated like that. So let's copy this just to not waste that much time. Oops, I cannot apparently. Let's see if I can copy this, yeah, and paste it here. So this is basically the same up to here, right? So if I run it, you can see it's the same. But now we are going to put an if statement to tell it that whenever the first letter F and this one, the second letter, are equal, continue, skip it. So we are going to put an if statement here, or actually you can also do it here. So we can say if F equals, or does not equal actually, if F is not equal to, so exclamation mark equal means if F is not equal to this, the second letter, then print it. Let's indent this and colons. So if F is not equal to the letter which is going to be printed, the second one, then print this. Otherwise, else we can say, well, continue, just go on. Now let's run this and see what happens. Now we have AB, AC, see, so we don't have AA, and for B it's the same, BA, BC, there's no BB. If I submit this, and go up there. Well done, right answer. Nice. Now let's get to the last one here, longest word. So write a function given the longest word in a given text. Your function should be named longest word, take a single argument text, and return a string which should be the longest word in the given text. Now the given text can span several lines. Okay, something like that. Okay, we should use the length function. Alright, so let's see what happens now. So we are going to use a function, the name is longest word, and then someone gives us a text like this, and we should return the longest word. In this case it should be shrubbery. Now let's see how we can do this one now. Alright, so first of all, how can I compare these, the length of these? First, I need to maybe split each word and put them in a list. Then I can say, okay, this is now a separate item, so I can compare the length of it with the length of this one, or the length of this one with the length of this one. So they should be put in a separate list so that I can compare them. Now for that, to separate these sentence into separate words, we can use a split function. So let's just say that t equals text.split, and a split is going to split the word based on spaces. That's a default value. So it should give me we want all in a list. And if I, let me just go actually to a replit to just try this here. And then if I print t, let's just go and call our function longest word, and let's give it something like, I don't know, this is a text. If I run this, I should get, you see, a list. Now these are separate. So this is what a split does. By default, it goes and sees, okay, there's a space somewhere like here, so it separates it, splits it here and here, and then prints it. Now I should be able to access these. Now how can I check the length of these items? Well, first of all, I can do a for loop and go through these and print out the length of each item. That is one thing I can do, and then compare the numbers. But another easier way is to use max function. And max function gives the highest number there is in a list. For example, this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, and I can give it based on length. Give me the highest number based on length. So what I can do is here I can say, let's say print max t, because t is already a list, but I want to say that the key is going to be len, that is based on the length. So how is it supposed to give me the max based on what? Because these are not numbers. So I'm going to tell it based on the length, give me that. So if I do this, you see, it gives me this. But let's see if I have longer like this, is it the same again? No, you see, now it works. So this is the easiest way we can do this. So I can go here and tell it to print the maximum. So we have a min function and max function. Now give me the max of what? Of t, because t is a list with several items. And how is it going to determine the maximum, the highest, based on what? Based on key, based on len. Well, actually we need to return it because this will be printed here anyways. So let's return this. And if I run this, shrubbery, this is the longest word. And if I press submit, nice, your answer is right. Okay, so I hope that you've learned something from this video, maybe you can also use a for loop for this and check how it is done, or you can look at other solutions to this challenge, and you can maybe also try some other challenges yourself, like yeah, I don't know, like sets of love. I already have a video on sets in Python. And yeah, then that's it. Thank you so much for watching and listening.